Monday when I spoke about ego and false self, right? So we identify ourselves with our thoughts, first of all. So our thoughts come, and we listen to our thoughts all the time. Everything our brain will tell us, we think it's us, right? So we have a negative thought, we go into that thought, we wrap it around the emotion, we go into it. That is telling us ourselves that we think we are that thought, so we have no control over it. We can't sort the thoughts, we can't decide not to go into it. We just feel like whatever's happening here, we're just almost a victim of. Exactly, it's a victim of the thought or a victim of your emotion, right? I spoke about yesterday, I'm feeling emotion, feeling pain. So you feel something negative inside of you, and now all of a sudden you think you are that. So you're just into the anger, you lash out, you punch the wall, you yell at somebody. This anger is controlling you now because you think you are it, right? But when you understand that you're actually a spirit or a soul or an inner awareness that's actually inside this body and inside all of these things connected, almost like an inlet or a river off an ocean, then you understand that you have complete control over everything here. This cannot control you, right? And it also will give you a sense of power in your life as well. When you realize that this body is just a body, right? It's not a controller of everything in your life. Because how many times are we in happy emotions, we feel so good, life is amazing, then something bad happens, and now we're in the dumps, and everything sucks, and everything is terrible. So we're just letting our body, the vehicle, control us instead of us driving it. I mean, this does not happen, right? When we're driving a car, we control it, we press the pedal, we do everything that needs to be done. Even the people who press cruise control, you're still doing something. So that's the idea you need to have. You are a controller of this vehicle, because that's all it is. It's a vehicle. A vehicle to the destination that you have, which is your destiny, or whatever purpose you need to fulfill. So when you understand this, then you're not going to be controlled by this at any point. Even when the emotion is there, you understand that as soon as the emotion comes, I can instantly step above it. I instantly disattach myself and just watch it, right? Because I'll tell you, I mean, you may experience this in the workout. You get real intense pain. You're lifting, you feel the pain. As soon as you start being positive, you start watching the pain. You actually watch it and feel it inside of you. No longer are you inside of this pain. You're not controlled by it. And you're able to watch it, and you're actually able to do a few more reps, even with the pain that's happening. But how many times do we see someone, as soon as the pain comes, done, right? Instantly. It's the same with the emotion. As soon as the bad emotion comes, done, and then you're just taken with the emotion, and you have to ride it out. However, if you catch it at the first moment it comes, as soon as you have a bad thought, okay, this is a bad thought, I'm sorting this out, I'm not going to go into it, done. Bad emotion, okay, I understand this is actually just a feeling in my body, I'm feeling the chemical reaction inside. You can actually laugh because you're watching it. You're watching it happen. So before, you'd lash out, your day would be ruined. Now, good old phones. And now, you're watching it. You're watching the emotion. The thing that used to control you and be you, you're just watching it, right? This is the idea of the ego self, the false ego, the false self, and the true ego or the true self. Understanding that you are the awareness inside of everything, this will give you an empowering feeling. When you look at people in our history who have been able to control the masses, you look at someone like Hitler, terrible man in most people's eyes, but you look at what he was able to do, the controlling of such an intense mass of people, one man. This is the idea of the power that is inside of you, right? You think because, I mean, we have this societal norms placed on us, and ideas of how society is supposed to go, and the lottery concept, and the idea that success is kind of very far from us. We look at this and we think that is unbelievable. There's no way I could ever do something like that. Even if it was a good means, if I were able to control a bunch of people for a good means. This idea is not in most people's reality, right? And we talk about reality and it only being your belief. So if all of a sudden you woke up with 100% belief that you could lead 1 million people, you would do that, right? Say that was possible. You'd be able to do that. So when you're able to understand that this power, the same power that was in him, or the same power that was in Gandhi or Mother Teresa or any of these people, is the same power within you. But the only thing that these people were able to do was realize it more in themselves. Realize that that feeling, that awareness inside of them is more and more them, right? So when we're disattached from our ego, we're more and more going inside and realizing this power. Almost like the power is broadening within us rather than us shrinking it, right? Because the more we go to the external, now it's like we're kind of coming away from it, so it's shrinking. Look at it, it's a very simple example. So the power inside us is just shrinking more and more and more. So when I go into desire today, I'm speaking about this idea of going out to the external, getting the external desires that we love, and going more and more into that versus going inside and feeling the more spiritual type of desire, right? The idea of love, doing something for somebody else. When you go to cook dinner, you're just not cooking for yourself, you're cooking for everyone in the house. These simple little things, right? This is the difference between somebody who's only focused on themselves, being their false self, their ego, or being focused on the greater good of everyone. Because when you understand that you are this connection inside that's connected to everything else, you will have this empathy for everyone else and every little thing. You won't kill animals, you won't kill plants, you'll have a more sense of the environment, more sense for other people. This is the idea of that, those higher desires. So when we look at both desires, we look at the physical. So we look at what you're eating, the desires of food, the desires of sex and reproduction, and the great feeling we get from sex. Then we look at the idea of the egotistical needs, accomplishment, setting goals, achieving them, competition. These are the lower desires. As much as we would think, oh, like how can I not just set a goal to make $1 million or build a great business and achieve this? How could that not just be something great, something amazing? It's because, first of all, you're not in tune with this higher self, this higher dimension of yourself. So, I mean, our society is mostly like this. So the idea of getting all that money, getting all the women, getting all the clothes, getting all the physical needs that we want, or the material needs, we understand these as the greatest thing that we can achieve. We do not see anything else, or very, very few of us do. So when we look at this, this is all that we can be looking to grasp in our life. Because when we look at our reality only caused by our beliefs, and we think that these are the greatest goals that we can achieve, then, I mean, there's not much more that you're going to be going after. That's just your brain. Nothing's going to go for anything else because you're just not aware of anything else. So all of a sudden, you start meditating, you start looking inside, you realize there's actually an inner core, there's an inner self, and you start realizing that this is actually what you're going after, right? The idea of enlightenment or reaching some sort of self-realization. This idea of real goal attaining. And it's not a goal attaining anymore because the self-realization is an infinite journey. It's not a journey where you go, you attain it, and then you're just, oh, I'm good. Because when you realize yourself, you also end up realizing yourself in everyone else. That's the idea of realizing self, okay? So when you realize that you are this connection to everything else in the whole universe, literally, because there's only 3 or 4 elements that are making up everything in the whole star system and everything. So when you look at this and you realize you're in this connection with other people, now your desires will change. Your desires for feeling love for someone else or doing things more for the greater good of the people around you, now actually acquiring knowledge, acquiring understanding on things, deeper knowledge onto the real things in this world. Because believe me, there's a lot more knowledge than what you think is out there. A lot more. And when you start searching on the inner self, these epiphanies or these drawings to learn certain things will start to come. You start watching certain videos on YouTube, you start reading certain books, you start talking to certain people. It's because, I mean, when I speak about frequency and everything being a vibrational frequency, this is the same with a book, okay? So you have a book about, I don't know, like comics or something. Some very, a very, very basic comic. You look at that, that is more of a lower vibrational frequency of a book, okay? And then when you look at a book, maybe you look at, I don't know, let's say the Bible. That's more of the middle one. You look at that, maybe a higher vibrational frequency. Then you look at something maybe written by Deepak Chopra, very good spiritual leader, knows a lot, maybe a higher vibrational frequency. So even a book, you look at these things, they have a vibrational frequency to them. So as you're raising your own vibrational frequency, then you are going to be drawn to these higher vibrational things. So certain videos, certain understanding, certain knowledge, certain people. And you'll be in that direction to learn these things. It's just, that's the way it will go. Your intuition will guide you. And as you keep going on this journey, more and more will you get disattached from the physical desires. So no longer will you eat cake. No longer will you just have sex with whoever. No longer will you want to achieve all these money goals or these goals of material pleasure. You'll be more and more disattached from these. and you'll be going towards the more higher spiritual type of desire. Because, like I said, that route going that way, which is the way you're all on, because the spiritual journey includes the physical, right? It's everything together. So as you understand this, you're just realizing you're all on the same journey. Some people are just stagnant. They just don't understand there's a kind of a higher realm or a higher understanding. So they're just going up and they kind of just stop and they stay there. And they just love the security and the comfort and the ego that they keep getting fed with, right? When you attain a certain level of success in your life, I mean, it's hard to want to just keep going because you're everything in the physical need is met, everything is good. Going for a higher understanding of yourself is not necessarily in everyone's best interest as much as it is. They just don't know it. So when you keep going on this journey and you keep understanding yourself, it's an infinite understanding, okay? So it's not like like I said yesterday, there's no top of the mountain. You don't go from point A to B and then you rest and then you chill. There's times for rest, there's times for regeneration. But life is more of a muddy hill. You're walking up, you're going up, you're kind of sliding back down, you keep going up, you keep going up. You might get a really good grip and you're really going along, but as soon as you stop, you're going to start sliding back down. And this is the idea. As soon as you stop working out, taking care of your health, taking care of your whole body, meditating, you instantly start going back out of balance, right? So you get out of this balance and you start sliding back down. Because as soon as you understand that living that life of complete balance and complete understanding of the spiritual desires, you have to keep your body in balance. This has to be in complete balance all the time. So you always need to be eating well, you always need to be exercising, you always need to be meditating. You need to be doing these habits, these consistent habits, the compound effect, right? You keep doing things over and over and over, and then it just can't not equate to something beautiful for you. It doesn't work like that. If you keep doing the right things for your body, the right things for your mind, and the right habits for your whole life, then naturally your life will be taken. You'll be taken with the flow. Because, right, life is a journey that you're supposed to be more watched and experienced in that balance, right? So you're experiencing, you're eating some maybe not so great food once in a while, but at the same time you're still giving love to everyone, you're still doing these things. You know, you still achieve certain egotistical needs for yourself in the physical world, you build a business, you do whatever, but you're still balancing out. This is the idea of true balance. You can still attain the higher realms of spirituality, and when you understand them, you're really not going to want to go back down. But you're able to go back down. You're able to go back down and understand that I'm conscious of what I'm doing right now. I'm conscious of the decisions I'm making, but I'm not going to delve into them and get taken back down in there, right? And if you start to look at this, you start to see that there's actually some sort of, not separation, but there's a very like obvious divide. You know, when you look at the 7 energetic centers that run from the base of your spine up, it's actually 13 that go above, but when we look at just the 7, when you're in the middle, this is your heart, the heart chakra, the heart energy center, the green love, right? When you're stuck in love, and everything is out of love, always your intention out of love, then your life is just going to end up that way all the time. Everything is going to end up going fine. I tend to look at it in a way of 51%, 49%. So if you're always making the conscious right decision at least 51% of the time, then naturally the compound effect would equate to you taking that exponential curve up instead of the exponential curve down. And when you understand that if you stay in this, you can kind of veer into the physical, kind of veer into the spiritual realms. You can kind of go back and forth, but your life will stay in balance, and everything will be of love. Then you'll really just always be experiencing the best thing for yourself. Always. Because, I mean, when you look at this idea of love, it starts to explain certain things. Whenever I was, interested, obviously, in changing my diet, making it better. Now it's getting to a point where it's very, very good, it's very static, it's very, constant. I mean, in my understanding, I never want to go back to the idea of eating bad or eating not great things, because you instantly feel the difference in your body. You instantly feel the shittiness. You instantly feel the tiredness, right? So there's no point to do that. It doesn't make sense anymore. As like it was before, oh, why would I eat good? This tastes so good. And it doesn't make sense to eat good if this tastes better. It's the same idea. It's just changing of reality, right? But when you look at people, there's different studies of, certain families. I know there was one family in Italy that was studied. They were always eating pizza. And even some, like in Italy, they make it much better. But still not the greatest food for you, right? But because they were just in a circuit of their family, constant in love, constantly giving to each other, constantly make it for whoever in their family, and out of this love idea, running the farm, running what they're doing, their health was still fine. I mean, they may not be in the best shape, but they have no problems, no heart disease, no cancer, nothing bad. Because they're always out of this love perspective. Because remember, love, intention of love, will always triumph everything. It doesn't matter. And I mean, there's obviously different limits and different understandings of it. But the more you're out of that love intention, it's like if you're always in a love perspective of life, it's very difficult to go kill somebody, right? It really just wouldn't make sense. If you're always in a love perspective, how could you let that happen? It just doesn't make any sense, right? However, you're in a very angry mood, everything is bad, you may make some good decisions with your diet. However, the chances of you going to kill somebody is a little bit higher, right? So if we just look at things very simply like this and realize that if we're just going out of love for everyone, not just for me, right? Not just acquiring for me, because that's really what the physical is. Everything for me, right? Well, how can I get mine versus how so-and-so can get theirs? It's a bad way to look at things. Because, I mean, you look at our society. I talked about this in the 12-12-12 video that we did, the event we did. And I talked about the whole society being out for them. Country versus country, team versus team, person versus person. Always the VS in between. Competition, everything, right? So life, if the whole world is like this, I mean, it's showing how we are on an individual level. But it's showing that it doesn't work, obviously. There's famine, there's people dying, there's wars. It just doesn't make sense. So if the whole individual scale, every single person, if every one of us in this room changed ourselves, and then every other person in this world also changed themselves to more of a love perspective, right? More of giving to other people or doing things for the greater good of everyone around you, now all of a sudden the world is completely changed in a day. The whole world. Everything gone, no more wars, no more separation. Now we're actually thinking about going interstellar to other planets, to other places, instead of only focused on here, right? Curing cancer, free energy, these types of things, because they all been done. You go on YouTube, search any of these things, they're already proven, they're already ready to happen. However, obviously the control powers do not want this to happen. So if we're able to control ourselves, at least ourselves, right? Because that's all that matters. You can't go fight the world, you can't go fight the governments. However, what you can do is change yourself. And as each person changes this perspective from physical to more a spiritual idea or spiritual understanding of life, now the whole world has changed instantly, right? Obviously, this takes a period of time because when you're able to, I mean, if you watch the movie The Matrix, beautiful movie, I guarantee if you go watch this movie after meditating for a few days, you'll understand it in a much different perspective. But you watch the movie, the idea of Neo getting removed from the Matrix, removed from this life that he thought was real. This is very similar to the spiritual journey. Very similar to understanding yourself in a more deeper perspective, right? So when you start looking at life and society and not realizing that it's not as real as you thought it was, it's not as great as it was thought out to be, right? Life is a little bit grander. There's more things to know, more things to learn, more things to experience. When you start to understand this, I mean, your whole perspective will change. And you'll start to really see how hard it is to leave, because really all it is keeping you in this physical idea. And how hard it is to leave this. How hard is it, I mean, when we're trying to change our diet? How hard is it to start meditating on the regular? These things are not the easiest things to do. It's because, I mean, if you've had so much of your environment, so much of your society placing these things on top of you, it's very difficult to kind of break free of it. It's not impossible. It's definitely not. But the idea of doing it, you need to understand the actual implications of you doing it. And the idea of how intensely your environment is affecting you. Because, I mean, you're always taking things in subconsciously, constant. So if you want to attain this sense of higher self, or the sense of attaining more spiritual desires, removing yourself from this physical, you need to look at everything around you. Your friends, your house, how is it set up, everything inside of it, your job, all of these things. And especially your friends. I would tell you your friends are probably the most important piece. As much as we love our friends, as much as we don't want to let them go, as much as we want to keep them around, we've been with them for 10 years, how could I ever? However, if your friends are having a negative effect on you, if they're not out to improve themselves, if they're not out to actually search inside and kind of go on this journey with you, then it is time to remove yourself. I mean, this is something that most people do not like to hear. However, this is the truth, and this is what you need to be doing. Because, I mean, unless you're able to bring them along with you, and obviously that is a definite idea. brain mess up there. As of course you can take them with you, but at the same time, this is a personal journey. This is a journey of yourself. You make the decisions, right? You've been guided. I can guide you all I want. I can tell you everything I know. I can teach you everything I know. However, your idea of what you want to do with your life will conflict this, and it will take some things in, reject the rest, and you will make your own decisions based on what you think is right, what your beliefs are right now, right? However, the people who are able to go more inside, deeper, 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 the easier it is to first of all understand these concepts, and the easier it is to kind of go with it, not question everything, not nitpick everything, not question everything over and over and over. Because this will be the biggest detriment to your journey. As you are constantly nitpicking things, as you are constantly trying to understand them to the most intense degree, this is all your logical mind working, not just going with your intuition sometimes, this will make it much more difficult on you. And I experience people like this often. It's not that they cannot grasp the concepts, it's they do not want to grasp the concepts. Subconsciously, their ego is holding onto them, holding into this physical idea, and just not letting them break free, not letting them go, right? And this is for you to understand. I cannot decipher this for you, right? Because your ego will blind you completely blind you. And as much as I'll tell you with love, I'll send you love, I'll meditate on it, I'll do whatever I can to help you, it doesn't matter. It all comes from you. And the more you understand it all comes from you, the more responsibility you will take for yourself. The more responsibility you take for yourself for taking that first step, the more responsibility you will take to keep yourself in balance, and the more you will take as an understanding of everything around you. You will take in everything around you. You will analyze every situation. You will notice things. You will do things for yourself, right? You become your own teacher. And that's the best thing I could tell you. The best thing I could tell you, because, I mean, I'm not going to be with you all the time. Other people, mentors that you have, they're not going to be with all the time. It's for you to decide, you to make that understanding more of a concrete reality for you. And the last thing is going with your intuition, right? Your logical mind will tell you not to, don't do it, it's not the right thing, you don't know where you're going, it's unknown, but you just take the step and you go, and that's how your intuition will guide you in the right direction, always. Your logical mind will decipher things, will figure out different concepts, different problem solving, but your intuition is guiding you in the right direction, always, right? So the more you can trust, and trust is like, I mean, trust is probably one of the biggest concepts you want to really bring into yourself. Just trust, trust, trust. Trust everything will be okay. Trust everything will go in the right direction. Trust everything is moving at the exact speed that it needs to. Because, I mean, we get impatient. We get upset with what's around us. We don't think it's what we want. However, everything around you in your life is exactly what should be there right now. Nothing more, nothing less. Because that's all that's there. You see? So, if we're just in the now right here, we're just here, we're sitting here, we understand certain concepts of what our life consists of right now. That's all that should be there, because that's all that is there, right? So when you understand that everything is happening exactly as it should, you accept every moment, you accept everything, then everything just gets perfectly okay. Because like I said, life is already taking you, the ride is already going. You want to more step back and enjoy it, rather than trying to steer it and control it and figure it out for yourself and logically decipher it. You're just slowing yourself down, right? Like when I talk about when you grab a hold of your emotions and you hold on to them and you keep them there, or you get into your head and you think your negative thoughts are you. These are the ideas of what I'm speaking about. You're just slowing the process down, right? So,